Hello, and welcome back to a follow-up of Off Meta Monday. Basic idea is we want to explore builds that are played by a number of people, but don't have much of a spotlight shown on them. And we just want to explore those and see, hey, what are these builds that people are playing that aren't really talked about? These could be builds that were popular in the past or not popular anymore, or builds that just have a very ardent or dedicated fan base. And what we did last week is we looked at Flame Golems right here. And the basic summary was it felt pretty bad. I also explored Chaos Golems and I played around with a little bit there. I didn't do Stone Golems, but there's a fair number of people that are playing Flame Golems. And the thing that I did here is I wanted to play what was basically what most people were playing. So we can look at the passive heat map here, get an idea of exactly what people are playing in general, try to do our best to, match the majority of what people are doing. And a big thing that most people are doing here, if we look, 90% of people that are playing Summon Flame Golem are using the Primordial Chain. I put together what was the average of what people are playing, and the summary was it felt pretty bad. However, if you look in the YouTube comments or if you look in my DMs, I got one message from someone with a lot of criticism here. And they said that I did the build dirty, that it was scuffed, etc. I was just doing what the average player was doing. And I was just trying to go along with that. I didn't put much personal thought into what the build was. And they gave me a lot of criticism. They provided me with a POB, and they gave me some ideas. And so what I felt would be really fair would be to go back to it and try out what they recommended. And what I did is I followed pretty closely to what they recommended in their POB. And I do have to say it feels a lot better. If we check out the video and we watch the boss showcase, this will be the quick and dirty way to show you what the difference in feel would be. We can see 20 seconds, right? 20 seconds, she's at like 80% life. And let's put one in ourselves here with the changes, and we can compare. All right, let's see if the damage can be better here. And we do want to keep them actually away from her, so they do their flame attack a little bit better. So if we go to 20 seconds... almost 20. We can see at 20 seconds, she's almost dead, right? And she's at like 30% at 20 seconds. And we'll get her dead here in a second. So as you can see, much, much better. Like close to double the damage of what we had in the previous video. So what we're going to talk about today is the changes that I made, and I'll share you guys the POB of what this is. My summary about the build is not night and day different. I still think for how much you have to stretch, how much you have to invest, how many required uniques you need to get to even make this come together, and for how much you have to invest for average, mediocre damage and very below average defenses in Modern Path of Exile. I am sticking to my guns. I think a Lightning Coil is just way, way better than a Brass Dome here. But besides that, this is the exact same build. So the big difference here is we are using Awakened Fire Pen. This gives us fire exposure. This, penetrates a lot of fire res. Then on top of that, we are anointing Whispers of Doom on a replica Dragon Fangs. So instead of using a Primordial Chain right here with the old Beef Anoint, this gives us 3 more Golems, but the Golems do significantly less damage. Instead, we use a replica Dragon Fangs, which just boosts the level of our Golems themselves, which could also allow us to use Specters or Animate Guardian if we really wanted to do that, but that's an additional level of clunk I didn't want to get into. This brings us up to a level 28 Flame Golem, which makes him much, much stronger. And then the other thing is really trying to min-max our auras right here with using Generosity, Guardian's Blessing on our Summon Stone Golem. If you don't know about Guardian's Blessing, this is the new support gem that allows us to run a blessing, like Divine Blessing, anything like that, with no cooldown or no timer, but it is linked to the Golem itself. So if the Golem dies, then we have to recast it. But as long as we have minions that don't die, then we get an additional permanent aura for just 1 more gem, which is really, really good for minion builds. And then we have that link to Generosity for a very, very strong Anger, giving us a lot of additional flat damage to our Flame Golems. Then we are running Zealotry with another Generosity right here. That's basically all of the changes. And I do have to say, we're doing about double the damage that I had in my showcase. Replica Dragon Fangs over Primordial Chain. Let's see. Oh, I was using Predator support, which was nice for telling them to aim, but Awakened Fire Pen was much better than Predator here. And then having the double curse with Elemental Weakness and Flammability. This does feel like respectable damage. I do think we could kill non-Uber bosses in a not painful amount of time. I don't think it'll be comfortable and awesome, But in terms of mapping, I guess we can do a map here really quick. There isn't that much more to talk about. The other thing that I'm doing here is I'm doing a manual cast of Shock Nova. The nice thing about Shock Nova is it gives us plus to maximum effect of shock, which we're not hitting it anyway, but ring shocks as if dealing 100% more damage, which if you saw in the Black Star, we had a very consistent 20% shock on the boss, which helped a lot as well. And then the mapping actually feels pretty decent here, all things considered, with having monsters more life. Sure, we'll show that off. The problem here is it's just when you don't have that convocation up. I know you can get cooldown recovery rate. I know all that. It's a little bit better, but I don't know. I'm so used to playing like high-end builds, right? I recognize that this is off meta, and if you just want the comfort, right? If you just want the comfort of walking around, this is one-handed, right? I don't have to press anything. My flasks are automated. It's pretty good. This will be a pretty good demonstration, actually, is showing the pretty scary Essence monster. Like, the single target, respectable. Respectable, right? Good? No. But respectable. And we'll just run to the map boss and show that. It's fine. Big problem, right, is I think we can't really fit modern defenses into the build easily. Like, there's a way where I could run... Like, I'm not even running a single defensive aura besides creative elements, right? Like, we could go all out trying to get in Storm Shroud and all that, but we can't really because we want to min-max all of our Primordial Harmonies. We want to have as many Primordial Harmonies as we can get. And since they all work together, they're kind of mandatory to scale the build. Every single one that you can fit in the build. And so it feels really weird. Like, you really can't even fit a single rare jewel into the build. Like, we are trying to min-max every single one. One Eminence, one Anima Stone, and then every other jewel is a Primordial Harmony. Every single one. Like, that's that's the setup right here. And here's the map boss. Feel that chill. And respectable. Like I said, totally respectable. And if you like the playstyle, I think this is much better. I definitely was, by following what everyone else was doing. For anyone that's playing Flame Golem, this is a better setup. I firmly believe that Primordial Chain, after doing all the testing, is incorrect for a Flame Golem setup. This feels much, much better. This is, about 10 divines, I'd say, put into this. We do need, we do need at least a 6-link item. Much, much easier to craft these bone rings by buying the fractured bases. They were about 3 divines each. When you search for fractured rings like this, you want to set this to 16. And you want to make sure that you want to set this to 16 right here, and you want to set the quality to 0 because you don't want to get scammed by people. Yeah, you can buy them for about 3 divines right now, perfectly rolled. You want to get them at least eye level 81, and you want to have that perfect 16% with 0% quality, because then you quality up yourself. If you search for 19, people are doing a little bit of a scam right here, is they'll add some catalysts. This is the classic. They'll add catalysts right here, and then the price goes up to 4 to 5 divines. Because people don't know better. And the catalysts are basically free. They're very, very cheap catalysts. And that is what people are doing right now. And then you can just take these rings, hit them with single bound fossils until you hit something good, minion damage, some life, whatever like that. I just threw like 5 fossils at each one of these, and I just kept it. But that's it. Those are the only changes. Again, Awakened Fire Pen, Replica Dragon Fangs, and you want to have really good Generosity auras. And that's it. And we're at a respectable amount of damage. I think if you really love the build archetype, you really love the class and, all of that, it's totally playable. But there's a reason why it's not meta, and without any significant changes, I don't think there's a world where it becomes meta. I actually think the biggest problem with this build is the defense, and we could probably fix it, but for the amount of investment to fix it and the effort to fix it, I think we're probably better off just playing other builds right now, unless you love it. And that's it for me today. Just something really, really quick. Just wanted to show you guys, if you guys got criticism for whatever, if I missed something in one of these off meta, like I said in the last video, I'm not putting a lot of time into this. I'm only putting a few hours into it. And I'm trying to play what other people are playing, the average of what other people are playing, the general build that people are playing. Very, very easy for me to miss really low-hanging fruit for a better version of this build. Yep, this is very viable. This is very playable. I'll share the POV below. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.